Today I'm going to be doing something fun. I'm very excited about this. I have this disgusting box. It's actually an ancient Reeves Watercolour set that I'm going to be doing up today. And I've got my work cut out for me, if I'm honest. This is not going to be an easy paint job because of the obvious reasons. This is covered, it's quite thick in over 10 years old worth of watercolor paint, because when I got this I was a kid. I must have been about, I don't know, like 8 or 9 years old when I got it, and I was using it all the time and the palette broke. It came with one of those cheapo plastic ones and it broke for various reasons, so I started using the box as the palette. There isn't actually that much water damage. This kind of looks like it is, but it's actually just a stain from the paint where these scissors have clearly been spilt on at some point. The only real sort of scuffing is actually on these fasteners, which I'm going to try and keep brass instead of painting them. But I'm going to essentially clean these up today and make a nice thing with this. Now, the general gist for today's plan is laid out beautifully here. I'm currently in the process of making a set of things for my dream desk. So I already have this beautiful dish from Poundland a couple of years back, which holds all my rubbers. Obviously this is animal themed because it's me. I also made the other day, trying not to spill all my fine liners everywhere, this crocodile pot, which I'm madly in love with, and I'm probably going to make more. So this is going to be part of this, I don't know, black and white animal textury contrasty set for my desk so I don't go insane. Because as it stands, all my pens are sat out like this just now in ancient merchandise of mine from Red Bull from like over 6 years ago now, and it's not good for the pencils because they rattle about and hit off each other. It's also taking up a huge amount of space on my desk, so having something compact like this that I can then just, you know, sit stuff on top of kind of gives me some more room. Today we are focusing on the beautiful black and white Goliath beetle. I have actually drawn one of these before. I was tempted to emulate the design I did with it previously, which you can check out on my Instagram, but I kind of don't want to. And I'm going to be taking the patterns from the shell, so like the wing caps and stuff, and emulating it around this box. So this sleeve is based off its butt or whatever. That's going to be on here. So these sides are going to have patterns on it. Top, big old beetle. And then the underside I'm just going to leave black. I think in regards to like the fittings and the inside, because there is actually a fair amount of paint in here. Like this is a great example. This is how old this is. It still has chip paint in it from when I was a kid. I'm probably going to paint that black, try and preserve these bad boys, and yeah, it's going to be good. Materials wise for what I'm using, in case you're interested in doing something like this yourself, I have a couple of different densities of sandpaper here, one that has fluff on it. This is incredibly rough. I wouldn't recommend using something like this if you already have a box that's reasonably clean and like doesn't need a lot of work done, because really for me the sanding is most important to get the paint off, and also the sort of varnish that's on the box already, which if you have a clean one you can get a finer sandpaper like this and it will do the job without wrecking your box. I'm also going to be using spray paint to just do the whole thing. I have a spray liqueur, if I'm saying that right, to sort of finish the whole thing off and make it really durable, which this thing is actually already painted in. It's got a bit of a gloss to it, which I personally like, but you can get matte ones. And the majority of this is going to be drawn with this little white Posca pen that I got in the mail today. I am using the, if it will show you, there you go, PC1M, which is one of the thinner ones that they have. It's not a brush tip pen, if that matters to you guys. I prefer this over a chisel nib because I'm doing a lot of like organic shapes. It's just easier, and if you're going to use these, all you have to do is shake them up, press them a bunch, and eventually you will get paint out of them and you can just draw away. I also have one in black, just in case I need to hide any mistakes, or potentially I'm thinking I might need to go around this stuff. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to get sanding this now, and I'll see you in a minute. So, I have ruined 2 and a bit sheets of sandpaper, but this is what we got. It's not half bad. I mean, it looks a bit scummy still, but when you touch it, this is all one nice smooth level now, whereas before there was even some bits in the wood that had warped. I've discovered some damage as I've gone along. I've managed to sand out this crack, so it's level now. This was hiding under some paint, and then I've also stumbled across a little carving I must have done at some point into the back of this. I used to be a little bit obsessed with like carving things into wood, but I've managed to sand it out a bit. It's still going to show up when it's painted matte black, but I kind of don't mind because there's a bit of history to it. Sort of like a secret that I know about. I've also sanded the inside, which is substantially better, where I've stumbled across this stamp. Don't know what it is, but it's in there and I can't get rid of it. There is some kind of like weird fixture here that I didn't do. This is actually wood put this way instead of that way. So, I don't know. Reeves, can you tell me what this is? But it's all ready to go. I've just got to dust it off and then paint it. Yes! So you may hear cat noises in the background of this because Mitzi's joining us for not only the video but the voiceover as well. All I'm doing here, because I want this to be semi-symmetrical at least, is making a sort of template for the actual beetle itself. And by that I'm just drawing half of it on a piece of paper, folded over, and cutting it out, essentially. There's nothing much more to it. I printed out a big reference photo, slightly bigger than what I am actually going to do the beetle as, because I find it easier to draw stuff from a reference that is vaguely the right size. I find it harder to sort of translate an image onto a page from a reference photo that is smaller than what I'm doing. And also I wanted to get a good look at all the little feet hooks and stuff like that. And I used sellotape doubled over on itself and sort of matted out on like my trouser leg to just hold it down while I was doing the stencil on the box with pencil. And I pushed it in a little bit because I wanted the Posca pens to kind of sink into the well a bit of the marks I was making. It just made it a bit easier for this whole drawing process. Now, looking back on this, I'm actually really happy with how the paint turned out overall, but you may notice a little bit of blotchiness on the larger white areas, like the head. I ended up having to go back over this 2 to 3 times in some places, just to get it even, and unfortunately the longer that you use these Posca pens in one go, without re-stamping them on a scrap piece of paper or whatever, like I showed you at the start, the waterier the paint goes, essentially. So every now and again you may see me duck off to the side to do that. And also, yes, I am wearing a dressing gown over a jumper in this because it was about, I think it was like -7 on the day that I was doing this, and I did it well into the night, and it was freezing cold in my room. When I was working on the spots, I wasn't trying to make them exact to the beetle, and the reason being is, I think if you're drawing an animal like this that has really natural organic shapes in their markings, after a while, if you try to mimic them too closely, you'll get kind of rigid in the way that you're drawing in your wrist or whatever, and it'll end up coming out looking a bit forced and a bit too unnatural. Pretty much, I'm just going over my little lines that I etched in earlier. And I had a bit of an issue with the legs. You might notice that I keep turning the box upside down. The reason being is I'm right-handed, and I have a bit of a rattle to my hand naturally. And in order to get those nice clean lines, I have to counteract it by sort of making the canvas move. So it's easier for me to reach these places. Why are you saying hello? Just a quick visit from the cat. She does like to sit on my work occasionally, and I did have to fish out cat hair from this painting after I did it, which was very helpful. I let that dry overnight though, and now I'm working on the sides. For the front of the box, like I explained in the start of the video, I wanted it to be the really fun speckledy texture on the beetle butt. And I'm working around the places that I've taken off the latches because there's no point in putting paint under them. I also knew that I wanted a sort of connecting texture that you'll see me starting here to wrap around the corners of the box and make it look like one unified sleeve rather than 4 separate pieces. And I knew that the sides were going to be quite white, so I put a lot of white on the corners on the front and the back of the box as well. The sides I had a lot of troubles with because at this point the pen was getting really watery, and it was around about now that I realised it was because I've been using it for a long time in one go. But it actually did top up quite well. I kind of wish I had a bigger nib for this bit just because there is so much white, but otherwise I'm really happy with how it turned out. And here's the final box. So I am beyond delighted right now because I just realised this dress actually matches the box I just made. Tiny things are getting me through lockdown at the moment, and this is one of them. I am beyond pleased as well with how the actual box has turned out. This came out really cool, and like usually when I plan stuff it doesn't turn out as nice as this, or I'll like change my idea halfway through about what I'm actually doing. So I'm really pleased that this is like a cool little thing that I made, you know? I'm really pleased as well that I've managed to sort of preserve some of the history behind it because it is something from my childhood. And I don't actually own a lot of stuff from back then. So it's really nice to see like you know, stuff like this still there. The original, whatever you call these, hardware doohickeys still being utilised in the final thing, you know? But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. It's so pretty and I did it all by myself. If you'd like to see me do more of this kind of thing, please do let me know. I am thinking for my next video of doing some key rings type things off these little boys, just to sit here because I've got some clay, so that could be cool. Or maybe I'll just paint 100 beetles or something. And yeah, let me know how you're keeping yourself occupied during lockdown. This is what I'm doing with my time. Hope you like this video. If you do, leave me a like and subscribe if you're feeling saucy. And I'll see you next time for more pointless animal doodles. Bye.